Easythreed X1 3D printer upgrade. Hello and welcome to another video. Today I will be upgrading the Easythreed X1 3D printer. I purchased and reviewed it back in August. If you are new to 3D printing or haven't watched that video, you can view it now as it will give some context to this video. If you're still here, make sure you stick around to the end where I give my honest opinion on whether you should buy this printer. I've printed many useful objects with this printer. It did surprisingly well and even paid itself off despite its 10cm by 10cm bed size. All was good, but then I tried printing some larger objects. For some reason I was having a difficult time getting the prints to stick to the bed. It either didn't stick to the bed in one specific corner or had horrendous warping and would often let go halfway. And that was not just on large prints. I'd come back and there was a mess of filament. One viewer commented on my previous video that double-sided tape would help, and indeed it did. But then even that wasn't working. I had to resort to hot melt glue, which was difficult to remove and even damaged the bed surface. Perhaps if you can take away one useful thing from this video, it would be the double-sided tape. A thin one like this. Of course a wide roll would be better, but not necessarily thicker. The tape will last a few prints, so it's actually cost effective. You just replace it as necessary. Now in my haste I ordered the heated bed upgrade. It and the 60-watt power supply were 57 Australian dollars. While waiting for it to arrive, I set to work fault finding. I tightened the screws. Notice the flex in the bottom plate? I believe this is the source of my problem. I also printed a brace to go under the Z-axis. None of these solutions actually helped. Finally, after a delay because they forgot to send the upgraded power supply, it arrived. Now let's install it. The final step was emailing support for the firmware upgrade. I had to identify the stepper motor for them. The prints weren't any better. I came up with a solution to replace that flexing plate with aluminium, or in this case aluminium composite panel. Another failed idea was solid mounting the bed. The prints were getting worse and worse. I reinstated the springs and used a feeler gauge to level the bed. But the prints were still failing. It seems the bolts weren't long enough and the springs were overly compressed. I went back to the double-sided tape method, but it still failed. After that I put longer bolts in and it did print better, but then it must have been overheating. Halfway it would shift and mess up the prints. I had enough. I bought a new printer. This is a terrible printer. Wait for my next video where I show you a better option. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. Thanks for watching.